We are so back, ladies and gentlemen. Heyo everyone, welcome to the Hashira Half Hour, and today we're doing a very special, quick little episode about the news that we got regarding the Demon Slayer TV anime today. But before we dive into that, I am as always joined by my two Hashira hosts.
What is up, y'all? We have been waiting. We are eating good today, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends. We are so excited to be getting such great news about so many really exciting and fun things happening so soon. So this is great. We are eating better than Attack on Titan fans have been eating for the last 10 years. And I say that as an Attack on Titan fan. But we don't have to wait 10 years in between an episode. So that's awesome.
That is awesome.
It's truly amazing. It's bold, iconic, daring, never been done before. I mean, no, but truly, like, getting anime back to back, I think, during the promo reel, I think it was 2019 to 21, 22, 23, and now 24. Like, she said, bus, plane, hit the club, another club, another club, another club, another club. And how can we be mad?
I mean, I think we've had new content every single year since it started, which has just been such a blessing for us. Even when there's like a 14 to 16 month hiatus, they're like still back-to-back years. So we're eating good as Demon Slayer fans, as always. But we're going to just dive right into the news. This will be super quick and just a way to update all of our listeners on what to expect. But the thing that I think I'm the most excited about, which we'll talk about first here, we're getting another world tour, which I know a lot of people are a little bit nervous about this because we did see quite a lot of backlash about the world tour last year. I'm hoping that just means that people know what they are getting themselves into this year. But the world tour is going to be episode 11 of Swordsmith Village. Ready to cry. Publicly, very publicly crying my eyes out. Anyway. And then it'll be episode 1 of Hashira Training, which of course is the new arc that we'll be releasing. And this will also be a 1 hour long episode. So runtime will be around the same as what we got last year. Now, they are doing more live voice actor stage greetings. This year, the one in America is going to, unfortunately for us, be in New York. That is much harder for us to get to, and I'm not sure where each one of us stands. I think I'm going to try and somehow make it happen, but I'm not sure all of us will be able to get to that because it is a lot farther away from us. However, that'll be on February 10th, and then it'll be hitting theaters countrywide on February 23rd. So pretty exciting, right?
Oh, yeah. And I feel like, I mean, of course, I selfishly wish that there was going to be more than one US city, but it is a world tour. And usually that does mean America plus like one country for a lot of like touring musicians. So it's nice to see that this is actually like really inclusive and they are genuinely going all over the planet to like share this awesome premiere with so many people. And New York, of course, is very deserving because I don't think there was a New York date last time. I believe it was just LA.
Yeah.
So New York is like the pinnacle of the other side of the United States. So it's really, really exciting and they will be hosted very, very well and have a good time.
Yeah, I think even though the world tour of like big premiering, I think that's great. I do also want to call to the fact that they are doing even more theaters for hometowns, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just that they're going all around the world in different countries, but even in your local area, even if you're international, they are going to 140 plus countries this year, which was only 104 last year. Yeah. So Demon Slayer is truly a global phenomena. And people are really eating. So I just want to say amazing work on Ufotable and Aniplex for really trying to bring this content to the entire world and making this really accessible for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to see the growth from last year to this year and the way that they're doing this is absolutely insane. And I will say, because I know that not all of our listeners are located in America, I just want to quickly go over all of the special screenings. Now, keep in mind, if your city or your country is not on one of the special screenings, which is the live greeting of voice actors, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get it. These are just the specific cities where they're bringing these voice actors. So, of course, they're going to start in Tokyo on February 2nd and 3rd. before they come to New York on February 10th. Then they go to Seoul on February 11th. The next week is going to be Mexico City on the 17th, as well as Singapore on the 17th. And then Jakarta, I think is how you say it, on February 18th. And then finally, week 4 will be Paris on the 24th, Taipei on the 24th, London on the 25th, and Hong Kong on the 25th. So some of these days we're getting literally 2 on the same day, just in different countries. And all of these will be attended by at least one of the Japanese voice actors. I know Hanai-san is doing 6 different stages this time around. He is a world traveler for sure, but it also includes most of the Hashira voice actors, as well as Zenitsu's voice actor will actually be making his first appearance in America because he's coming to the New York one, which he is very excited about. And it's just going to be a really good time. So keep an eye out for more information regarding that, but it is going to be hitting theaters locally. I know last year it hit pretty much all of our local theaters here, so we can assume that there's going to be even more opportunity to see it. And as a reminder, just know what you're getting yourself into when you go to these theaters. Remember that it's the last episode of Swordsman Village that we've already seen and the first episode of Hashira Training. Do your research and just enjoy it. Just have fun with this gift that they are once again giving us. That being said, the other news, also very, very, very exciting, but I'm kind of interested to hear what y'all have to think about what they're going to do with this arc, because Hashira Training is announced to be coming in the spring of 2024. Interestingly enough, when we got this reel on the same day last year, they said specifically April. So I don't know if that just means that their production is still working through things. So they're not 100% sure what month they're giving it to us, but we can assume March or April when it says spring. And with the Hashira Training arc first episode being an hour long. Now, we are all manga readers. We know that this arc is very, very short. What are your thoughts on the fact that they're still giving us an hour-long first episode and that they're clearly releasing this as its own arc? What are you expecting from it? What month do you think it's going to come out? Like, let's kind of open up about that.
Yeah, basing it off of kind of last year's timetable, because we got the world tour on February 10th, right, last year, something around that time. And then I believe, if I'm not wrong, it was like late March when we got the first like actual episode of the Demon Slayer, so it was like the actual release of it on Crunchyroll, right? Something like that.
It was April 9th.
Okay, so April 9th. So I feel like that's probably going to be somewhat around the same time. So I feel like it's probably going to be a little formulaic in that sense, but I think that's something that's nice about Demon Slayer is that like they're very consistent and predictable in their releases, and even like throughout the formatting, like every year it's adding on to what it's already there, and I think that's what makes it nice. It's like it's simplistic, but it's elegant, it's seamless, and I think that's kind of what's nice about the entire story.
Yeah, I'm very interested because I mean this was one of my first texts in the group chat this morning too, because I think the timing sounds about right. I think April would make a lot of sense. Personally, like my inclination would be like later so that they can, well, maybe. Yeah, no, a little bit later for it to start streaming because they want to probably give it a little bit of time in the movie theaters, like at least a couple of weeks. And I don't remember how closely the world tour followed in theaters after the like in-person world tour, but it was like at least a couple of weeks, I think, right?
So this year the world tour is actually a little bit sooner than it was last year.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
It's February
it starts in
23rd.
Japan. Yeah, so it's February 23rd that it hits theaters in like all over the country here in America. Last year it was March 3rd, which February is a short month, so it's only like a week difference, but it is technically happening a little bit sooner.
I still feel like April would make sense. And the reason I think that is because also for anyone who's read the manga, like this is a short arc. So the fact that this first episode is already slated to be an hour has me like wondering what are they going to do to make this like a season rather than like a special, if that makes sense, because part of me almost feels like they could probably fit most of the content of Hashira Training into an hour. I definitely think like that it's like 11 chapters, I think. So I'm very curious to see how this will become a season, and I feel like there's a couple of ways that could go. The first way, which like has not been marketed at all, is that obviously it could like kind of move into the arc that immediately follows the Hashira Training, which is a possibility. The other is that maybe we would get some kind of like Demon Slayer filler content, which I know that I feel like everybody like like irks the thought of like any filler. But the one filler episode that we've had of Demon Slayer that was like at the beginning of the Mugen Train arc was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a really nice, thoughtful episode that I felt like you could tell that the writer was probably involved in because it felt very intentional. And I thought did a really nice job of showing us a little bit more of a character that everybody really loves that we just don't get that much time with. And I think that the same could be said for a few of the other Hashira as well. So I wonder if like maybe we just get a little bit more time when we have all of them together in one spot. A little bit more like anime original content, anime canon. I don't know. Those are my hypotheses so far, is that it probably will be one of those two things, but because either way, I don't know that it'll be extended to like a 10 episode season. I think it might be shorter than that, so part of me feels like they might want to wait to have it start a little bit later so that it at least lasts until summer.
Yeah.
The thing that I was thinking is that there are a couple theories online, and I think I kind of agree with some of them. One of them was saying that if you watch it, it says spring 2024 at the very end, and then it's in pink. And someone was saying that's an allusion to Mitsuri, right? Because that's her main color. And someone was saying that's going to give us more of her backstory, which, if you don't know, Mitsuri was actually a Sukuko of Rengoku's for a little bit before she stepped into love breathing, and she was a flame breather. So that is something that was alluded to. Also, the other thing is that there are the stories of Water and Flame that are manga canon. So those could also be stories that are written into this. So those are some other things that could be brought up too as a little tidbits.
So I like that you brought up that Mitsuri was Rengoku's Tsukuko, because UFO Table will give us any Rengoku material possible. And also the second, so like I said, Tokyo is getting 2 of the live stage greetings. Obviously, I mean, it is Japan, but they get like the Kamaboko squad voice actors on the first day, and then they're getting all 9 Hashira, including Rengoku's voice actor on day 2. All 9 of them. I counted it. So
that's so cool.
I feel like, because in the manga, there's no content with him. He doesn't appear at all, but I am nearly going to guarantee that they're going to add it. I have a couple thoughts. I was originally thinking that they're going to bring the season in March, because they're moving the world tour forward a little bit, but they're just more moving it forward internationally. It's actually starting the same weekend that it did last year, of like February 2nd in Japan. So I think they're just moving all of the world dates sooner so that they can just get it out, but also possibly if they want to start airing the anime in March, then they can. I think April is still a much safer bet as far as that goes. I will say Hashira Training, I believe, is 9 chapters. I think I just actually looked that up a few days ago, so pretty sure it's 9 chapters. And UFO Table's usual way they animate is they usually do 3 chapters per episode. Like, that's their most common pace. That's their common pace, is 3 chapters per episode. Now, sometimes they do 2, sometimes they do 2.5, but most commonly it's 3. My theory is that not necessarily like the Tales of Water and Fire, these freaking light novels, The One-Winged Butterfly and Signs from the Wind, both of these books, almost every single chapter takes place in between Swordsmith Village and Infinity Castle. And it's all just like fluff. Like, there is backstory in it. So there's backstory for Sanemi, and there's backstory for Shinobu, Kanai, and Gyome that kind of explains how they all knew each other before like the story has been unfolding, as well as like other just random things that I want to see it all. I was reading the book and I'm like, I just want all this animated. Do I think they're gonna, animate specifically that? I don't know. They could do the Tales of Water and Fire. They could do Rengoku and Mitsuri, or they could just do completely new anime content, or they might just not at all. And they're like, yeah, it was 1 hour, and we're just doing one more episode after that. That's the least likely, I think. But it's definitely going to be interesting. Definitely don't know what's up their sleeve, but we'll find out. That's the important information that they did release today. They are going to be doing a Kimitsu Fest once again in Tokyo in March, on March 9th and 10th. And for those of you who don't know what Kimitsu Fest is, that is when they do the live dubbing of the anime on the stage. They did show that in theaters here for Mugen Train and Entertainment District back in the summer. So hopefully we'll get that kind of soon, but there is just going to be a thing in Tokyo. Other than that, that is the news. On a scale of 1 to 10, How excited are y'all?
Let's just call it a 10, baby. I'm very, very excited, especially because like we're really getting into like some of the meatier parts. Like Hashira training's a little bit more fluffy, but it ends on like a super high note in the manga. So I'm really excited to see how that gets handled. And I don't know. This is probably the last calm before the storm, so I feel like this is like we better enjoy it while it lasts with all of our Hashira friends being all together in one place and with our Kamaboko squad being there with them. So I think it's going to be really good. And of course, UFO Table has never let us down with the quality of the animation. So very, very excited to see how this is handled, and so excited that it's another world tour. Just goes to show and speak to the success of the show and the popularity.
Oh, this is going to slap again. I mean, they handled Swords and Village so well. You know it's going to slap hard. So I'm not concerned. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am flashy excited. So don't even worry. I've got the hype ready for myself. I think I'm most looking forward to hearing more or seeing more of Guillaume on screen. He's one of the few people who hasn't gotten a lot of screen time quite yet. So I am very excited to see how characters react to his backstory, as well as seeing the fandom grow for Obanai. Obanai also has a very interesting backstory as well. So there's definitely a lot of room for growth for some characters who haven't gotten the screen time that maybe they have wanted or other characters have gotten. But super exciting for this really inclusive and immersive arc.
I am definitely at a 10 as well. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to be too overly excited. But I'm very excited about what's to come. I would be at a 12 if the premiere was in LA again, but it's okay. All right. We're happy for our East Coast friends to be able to get an opportunity since most of the stuff usually comes to LA. So excited for y'all to be able to see it in New York. I am most looking forward to Giyu. Those of you who have not read the manga yet, I won't go into detail, but we're going to get some great content about Giyu Tomioka, and I am so ready for everyone to fall in love with him all over again because he's perfect, and I love him. Oh, man. But I think that's going to be it for today. If anything new comes out, we will absolutely be making another episode regarding it. I know there is another event. It's called Jump Festa next week that Demon Slayer will be a part of, but it's a bunch of different animes that are a part of this. They said they're going to make an announcement there as well. I don't know what else it could be, so maybe we'll see you all again next week regarding that. But other than that, just please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop a comment on what you're most excited about regarding all of this news, and leave a like. If you're listening on our podcast platform, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure to use that Q&A, and we might answer that question in a future episode. Don't forget to also download the podcast whenever you listen. That severely helps our numbers grow as we continue to try and reach more people here. And you can always follow us on social media. We are at Hashira Half Hour on TikTok and Instagram, as well as Hashira Half on X, formerly Twitter. And with that, I give you a good, hearty umai!
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 Why was it from Brooklyn?
It's because I'm going to New York.
I get it. Hey! Tanjo's like, I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
Oh,
I'm slaying some demons. Jerry, there's demons outside.
There's been demons outside since the 70s.
Oh my god.
This is like slander to our New York friends. It's okay. It's okay. My family lives in Queens.
We love our New York fans.